Tristan, the Black Dragon squad is stronger than ever. An enraged Emperor sends troops to hunt them down. The Emperor has placed the High Mage of the Imperial Order, Archmage Ishtar, in charge of his forces. As good as they are, a force this large may be too much for the Black Dragon squad. The Black Dragon squad had been laying low in Chelyumen Fort, but it's now being attacked by the advancing enemy. Red 2 standing by, all 4 lit and in the green. Welcome to YuGiOh the Falsebound Kingdom. And Tristan is packing a pretty solid team. Both Tristan and Joey have Constructor, huh? Anyway, Tristan's team brings with him Monster Tamer, which carries its power up, Hunter Spider, and Dungeon Worm, which is broken as all hell. That thing is easily one of the most powerful monsters in the game. So I'm probably going to edit Tristan's team and give him something else. Just to sort of change things around a little bit. Something I can really pour some good levels into. I mean, that's still useful, but... Gaikateno Megami is always handy on anyone's team. Now, mostly because I've been leveling Water Girl up throughout all this, I might stick with her, but I also want to get some new monsters leveled up too. Although in fairness, I can probably save those for later. Now, maybe I want a Darklands monster on his team. Not Bones' monsters. I sort of want Tristan to have a bit of variety, but I'm definitely not taking What's-Its-Thing off his team. Not taking Dungeon Worm off the team, definitely. So, Dark Chimera. And there, we'll have that as an available team. Let's get Monster Tamer on, and let's get Tristan's team outfitted. I don't know why I bought all those legendary swords. I have no idea, and you can't sell them as far as I know. It's a bit of a nuisance in that regard. So this can just have two black pendants. This gets a Beast Fangs, and I'll probably make this one our additional healer. Give it... There, Dianketo the Cure Master. Now that thing is going to hit like a truck, and it will poison enemies on top of that. So we got some good slaying abilities there. Malairika's team has come along very well. Giselle's team continues to be useful. Creowell is admittedly the strongest monster on the entire team, which is dumb. So that's doing well. We can probably save here. I don't think we've got any new monsters, so I'll check up on that and then we can get going.
It's not too late, Joey. Surrender now. You cannot win. Hey, I actually got some more dialogue. I might actually be a major character this time.
Bite me! I'm not giving up without a fight!
You fool. If you insist on spilling the blood of your men for nothing, then so be it.
Alright, so we have to take on Odion. What have we got coming in at us? Spirit monsters coming in hot. All ground units. So, we're going to be fighting the... We are going to be fighting the High Mages. We will be facing off against the likes of Ishizu and Odion. And this is a fairly important little arc for us, because it actually explains what happened to Marek. because you might notice that we don't actually face Marek in the main story. He's mentioned, but we do not actually face him. Those guns nearly ready. Alright, Tristan, you ready to go? Giselle should be ready. There we are! Crap, I went too early. Oh well. Giselle can take this one, then I'm going to have to get Tristan in and out. That was stupid. Got trigger happy there. Got a little trigger happy there. Oof, that's a critical right off the bat. Already going bad. Make one mistake and the game won't let you forget about it. Hi, yes, can I stop being beaten up, please? Ow. Lots of electric-based pain. Electric-based pain isn't good. They don't get status guard, do they? Crap! Well, that was a thing that... Alright, that one's dead. Let's just take this one out. So, this has gone slightly wrong, but this is basically the story of what happens to the High Mages of the Imperial Order. This is basically us getting to see what happened to Marek and why YuGiOh wound up in the situation she was. Alright, that went a little better than anticipated because the game fudged the turn order in my favour. Oh, good results, come on. Tristan, you want to go again? Alright, so this undead team shouldn't be a problem for Tristan, because they're actually fairly fragile. They've got a lot of AP, and we've probably got to watch out for... Got to watch out for the snake hair, definitely, because it can paralyze us. But otherwise, we should go okay, all things considered. I'd have preferred to have Malerica face this team, but there you go. It's an interesting little side story. It explains why we wound up getting rid of a fairly powerful... Okay, 5-3. It explains why we wound up getting rid of a fairly powerful duelist along the way. Or martial, really. Okay, yeah, it is 500. Still, 500 extra attack, not something to sneeze at. Probably not worth it, all things considered, but can come in very handy. Alright, what's getting... Dungeon Worm is, needless to say, going out of the picture. If you've got a really strong monster that gets status guard, it should be your ace. And there we are. So, we will of course get to face Odion quite a few times. We'll also get to face Marek, and this is where the Winged Dragon of Ra comes into it, and where you'll wind up getting Ra as well. Now, admittedly, this story is kind of a case of foregone conclusion, because if you've been paying attention, you will know how this ends. We have fought Giselle and Malerica. We fought them in the first chapter of Kaiba's story. Joey doesn't appear for some reason. But we know full well that the Black Dragon Squad's adventures are going to end at the hands of Seto Kaiba and the Imperial Army. It's not a spoiler. It is essentially sort of like the way the ending of Rogue One goes. You know how it's going to end, in a sense. You know what happens, what it's going to lead into. But this is just sort of the very interesting, how did we get there? It explains why we don't actually fight Marek, why the Winged Dragon of Ra is absolutely nowhere to be seen. And it allows you a little bit of room for vengeance too. Alright, well, sooner or later Dungeon Worm is going to have to recover. Now, if Zombie Warrior uses up all its AP, I probably should automatically recover from paralysis, or I'll just recover anyway, because otherwise I'd just be sitting there. And that would be slightly boring. So, time to tag our teams out. And it's going to... It died of poison! Oh well, decent experience anyway, a bit of extra level up for Dark Chimera. There's no real hard counter to spirit monsters, which makes them incredibly useful. Oh. Alright, so this team could be a little tricky. So, we're going to be facing this team quite a bit. It seems that this is almost a default spirit team. Though I believe Hane Hane is actually a beast in the card game and is treated as a spirit here, I think. Yeah, so they have no items. But tellingly, we are going to get Magic Craft for Fairy's Gift. In a few levels' time. Now, what's the other thing? Okay, Hane Hane has Turnover Tornado, which damages all enemies. So, I will still want to persist with my strategies of using my magic. Because otherwise we're in for a long and difficult fight. No, I want to deal as much damage as possible. Fantastic. Wait, I thought Queen of Autumn Leaves eventually gets status card, obviously. I don't think I can KO it fast enough. Well, I'll just pile on the damage and see what happens. Might be able to. Depends on what happens with the turn order. If it gets to go next, which is completely possible, probably gonna need to use Tao the Chanter's regular attack just to make sure. And I can't see what... We did get it, good. That's a bit of a relief. I mean, admittedly, being confused is not that much of a problem, all things considered. But teams will get a lot stronger from here on in. So you will start to use a lot more strategy. You'll have to be very careful with how you go about it, what you do to take down your opponents. But with a bit of clever thought, you can usually wind up taking them down. As I said, spirits are usually harder to deal with because they've got pretty easy power-ups. And they don't have any hard weaknesses. Teams of spellcasters aren't much chop because a good Darklands monster can rip through them. teams of Darklands monsters are problematic because a good spirit monster with well-built setups can rip through them. And dragons can be ripped through by warriors if you know what you're doing. It all depends on the items you have, admittedly. But being able to use your items properly and sensibly is the big secret to success in this. Pretty much any monster that relies on an additional ability or is trying to heal will be screwed over by machines and their equipment. Dragons really do have the worst of it in this game. It's very difficult for them to use their power-ups properly since one of them sends them berserk and mostly gets them focused on attacking, and the other one requires magic, which is of course pretty difficult to actually get your hands on. At least as far as dragons go. To the best of my knowledge anyway. I will eventually have to look that up and just level up as many monsters as I can. I might send Giselle in next and we'll see how everything goes. This team may not... Do they have Power of Nature? Thank heavens! Okay, not having Power of Nature makes this fight a lot more even. If they did, I'd be screwed. I am packing a bit more oomph from my barricade. Probably should have tried to meet them out in the field. But then again, it all depends on HP. See, the defense stat is so useless. Like 3 good attacks. And we've nearly put Orion down for the count. And Orion missed. They are insistent on guarding. Strange choices. They both guarded, didn't they? Let's take a swing at this one. Yeah, they both guarded. It is worth noting that the higher the defense is, I think the more likely it is for the monster to guard, but the odds still aren't what you'd call fantastic per se. You kind of have to rely on the defense being high enough that it can just shrug off any attack that comes its way. Because if you do 0 damage, then it's a guarantee that the guard will not break. So a powerful fusion monster can, with an attack that hits all enemies and enough AP, can actually shrug off an opponent's attacks and pretty much counteract accordingly. That is probably the only really serious use for guarding. And even then, I don't recommend it that much. Because, I mean, it's good, but not great. The fact that defense doesn't come into it unless you do select the guard command is actually pretty stupid. Because, depending on the game, monsters with high defense can still be incredibly useful. Just not here. It's just weird. Wow, we have actually got some really good criticals. I have been very, very lucky this battle. I'm gonna be honest. I've got through a lot better than I anticipated. So I was really dreading these teams being a pain in the ass. But it's evidently gone pretty well so far. Could change, we'll see. Axe Raider has just dodged 2 attacks though. I mean, the RNG is benefiting me so much. If it swings the other way, I won't be surprised at all. Now that one hit the mark. And then finish. Spirits do seem to give you pretty good experience though. I'd probably better get to some of the profiles because you don't actually have any monsters to recruit in this chapter. I think we've seen everyone we can fight already, so I'll work on that. Flame Cerberus, which I really think should be Cerberus, made its international debut and only appearance in Metal Raiders. In Japan it debuted in Volume 6 and reappeared in their version of Metal Raiders. Now, I would like to know who was responsible for mucking up the spelling in the English version of the card. How do you botch this and not notice? Seriously, they got it right in the Japanese version, they actually spelled it Cerberus. It's very clearly a reference to Cerberus, or Kerberos if you want to use the original Greek. Spelling issues aside, until the advent of Rush dual sets, this was actually tied for the highest attack of normal Pyro-type monsters with Mr. Volcano. Now that is not exactly a great achievement all things considered, it's more of a you tried ribbon with the E-rank music from Sonic Unleashed playing. This thing really isn't very memorable. Sengen Jin made its international debut as a World Championship prize card, then reappeared in Premium Pack 2. In Japan, it debuted in the exact same circumstances as Serpent Night Dragon a couple of episodes earlier. Sengen Jin's full Japanese name, Senen Genjin, actually means Millennium Primitive Man, and it apparently carries Millennium items. Given what it carries, I would want those Millennium items. Imagine how much shorter and how much less complicated Battle City would have been if Yugi was packing the Millennium Axe or the Millennium Mace. I mean, that'd take out Marek pretty quick, smart. Who cares about card games when you're armed to the teeth? You don't even need to throw rocks at each other, you just get your weapon out and away you go. Okay, maybe they're probably not Millennium items really, but still, be pretty handy to have them along. Dungeon Worm made its international debut with the second McDonald's promo set. Yes, they did force people to go through all that slop just to get cards again. Then reappeared in Legendary Collection Joey's World. In Japan it debuted in Volume 5 and immediately reappeared in Booster 5. Dungeon Worm isn't special, but at least its Legendary Collection appearance meant that you could acquire it without having to endure god-awful substances poorly disguised as food. In the manga, it gained a 10% power-up to attack each time it destroyed a monster, whereas in the anime, it received a boost from the presence of Monster Tamer. This monster's vile attack poisons enemies in this game, which can be very handy, mostly because Dungeon Worm already hits immensely hard due to being Castle Adept, and the poison damage really helps tear enemies down. Monster Tamer made its international debut and only appearance in Legendary Collection Joey's World. In Japan, it debuted and made its only appearance there in Booster 7, so it's kind of a file and forget card. But given their combination in the anime, it's very fitting that Monster Tamer turns up alongside Dungeon Worm. You will also be able to power up all allies when Monster Tamer acquires its special attack, and it's pretty capable all round. It's not a very memorable monster as far as the card game goes. I think its most notable trait is that it kind of looks like a Middle Eastern stereotype with ridiculously wiry muscles, but it's interesting enough anyway. In Forbidden Memories, fusing this monster and a spell card made the Electro Whip equip card, which probably didn't have very much use. Hunter Spider made its international debut and only appearance in Metal Raiders. In Japan, it debuted in Volume 4 and appeared in their version of Metal Raiders. This spider appears to be about as large as a person or even bigger based on its scale in this particular game. And yes, that means exactly what you're thinking. It is indeed accurate scale to the size of Australian spiders. I can confirm that for you. Even a smaller one is enough to take down a red-bellied black snake, but this is huge. In terms of stats, this is a fairly unremarkable monster and isn't worth summoning at all. To be honest, you'd be better off bringing an actual Australian spider to the duel, just as long as it doesn't eat you, because, well, they kind of do that, if the snakes don't get you. Or the sharks. going to take back control for a moment to show that you can really get up close and personal with the... Oh, jeez. That went a little... Where am I now? I zoomed out through a mountain. Okay. Let's wait for X-Rated to actually come over the mountain. Rotate the camera. Shuffle across a little bit. And yeah, you can really get up close and observe the accuracy of the monster designs. It's just a really nice touch as far as I'm concerned. Just something I thought you might like to know before we wind up fighting Odion.
There is no escaping destiny.
Odion's team is the same as always. He hasn't bothered changing it. Embodiment of Apophis will be a pain in the butt because it's actually not coming with healing. Okay. So I basically have free reign to beat the crap out of him. Take out his strongest monsters, and Circuit is just there. It really is just there. It's not very good, it doesn't do a lot, and it can power itself up, but that doesn't really wind up adding up to much more damage. If you're really lucky, it will wind up using its special attack twice, and you won't have anything to worry about. It all depends on what it feels like doing at any given... There we are, it's powered itself up. That gives it 1,000 attack, I believe. And the mandatory one last spiteful screw you before it dies. At the hands of Axe Raider. Very good results. I need to see exactly how much Tribute Soul does power it up by. So its attack was about 3.7 earlier. Oof. Yeah, it's a 1,000 point power up. That's not bad. But it's also not fantastic given it doesn't have very many AP to begin with. I don't want to actually confuse it because then it will start attacking. It might do something stupid. Just what I was saying! It might do something stupid. It's just useless. I mean, it doesn't seem to get that much power. It's not quite as bad as Kaiser Dragon, let's be honest. But it doesn't really seem to get great stats, and its low AP really harms it. It is just not a great monster. In this game, anyway. And because it decided to be a dumbass, and Odion just powered it up without giving any thought to his AP, we're free to wail on it. And there we are. We're just sort of beating it slowly and surely, kicking it into the ground as it just sort of sits there like a big dumb target. And there we are. Last time I said we short-circuited Odion, now he's short-circuited himself. And there we are, AP for Garuzas. Alright, Odion has proven himself to be a bit stupid. And we've managed to get out from under the thumb of the Imperial Guard and the Imperial Order.
Impossible! I can't lose to these miscreants!
Oh wait, no, actually I can. I made some really dumb strategies and probably should have just spent a lot of time attacking with Circuit. I mean, oh man, now they're gonna demote me to minor character again. I can't believe I blew my only opportunity. Destiny's not something that happens to you. It's something you make happen. You're the fool if you think someone like you, who leaves everything to fate, could ever defeat me. And I mean, don't mention the fact that I just rely on luck in most of my duels, okay? Listen up, the enemy is confused. Now's our chance to escape. Let's go! Joey. So there we are. We have evaded the enemy. And it is time to strike back, hopefully, in the next episode. Thank you very much for joining me. Till next time, this is Red 2, returning to base.